Personalities and passion are what drive a newsroom, and tonight we here at News 4 New York have lost a member of our team who had lots of personality and was always passionate about his work and his family.
With heavy hearts, we bring you this story tonight. John Noel, one of our reporters, an Air Force veteran, and most importantly, a loving father, died today after a very private and brave fight with brain cancer.
Tonight we've asked one of John's closest friends and colleagues, David Ushery, to take a look back at his life and his career. David?
62 years young, we lost him peacefully in the middle of the night. John lived humbly but confidently by example. He himself said not long ago that he doesn't preach to people, doesn't tell them how to live, but he said, quote, "If there's anything you hear me say or see me do that you find of value, take it as your own." Well, as a man, as a father, and as an intrepid reporter, he's left quite a body of work for us to choose from.
Whether he was covering the horrific aftermath of 9/11.
Some workers who were digging with their bare hands or being part of the bucket brigade say they've been sent home.
Or the colorful West Indian American Day Parade, which was to be his assignment every year, no questions asked.
There are hundreds of thousands of people lining Eastern Parkway here.
John Noel helped guide News 4 viewers through highs and lows in a poised, straightforward manner that news directors and the audience counted on for decades. Simply put, he was just cool on camera and off, but he always delivered the goods.
2 years ago, when Amadou Diallo left his home here in Guinea, heading for New York City, not many people here knew who he was. Now, however, his name is on everyone's lips, his face imprinted on T-shirts.
John brought the discipline learned from military service and years of studying martial arts to his reporting craft. He earned a master's degree from the acclaimed University of Missouri School of Journalism. He reported in St. Louis and Detroit. But in 1998, this son of Crown Heights followed his heart and his mind home, and he joined News 4. Hard news was his main gig. He won Emmys, but was happier breaking stories. Cops, courts, crime. Here comes John.
His name is Eric Manson. He's 40 years old, and police describe him as a prolific serial bank robber.
But he took every assignment seriously, and if humor or a lighter touch was needed, so be it.
Occasionally, I'm told, one of these pigeons will miss the announcement for the door closing and get trapped on the train, but then he'll just ride to the next stop and get off.
This past February, John was honored as a black media legend by the owners of McDonald's restaurants in the tri-state area. John was not one for showboating or grandstanding, not as a reporter, not as a person. Still, he couldn't help but share the joy and love he had for Daddy's little girl, his 9-year-old named Jacina, whom he called Jessie. Of the countless stories John reported on the air, the happy ones he shared about her off the air made people smile. John didn't like excuses or sympathy, and reported for duty at 30 Rock as long as he could while struggling with illness. He said his greatest joy was to be reporting on the streets where he grew up.
In Brooklyn, John Noel, News Channel 4.
Because John often covered sobering news, it may surprise many to know that he liked to laugh, albeit quietly. He could hold his own salsa dancing and was studying guitar. Because he seemed detached in a cool, hip way, there are few who can say that they were especially close to him, and honestly, I don't know if I can count myself among them. What I do know is that we shared a lot of laughs. We talked a lot about fatherhood, and he was a disciplined, classy professional. My life is now diminished without him, and so is our newsroom.
And I would agree with that. We saw lots of pictures with him and his daughter, and I have a daughter about the same age as John's daughter, so we talked a lot about our kids and maybe doing a play date, and now the time has gone, and you know, that never happened.
Yeah, and one of the things about John that always struck me was he was so disciplined. A lot of people don't know this, but we showed the photo of him doing the karate kick. He was very into martial arts, and I asked him why he got into it, and he said when he came out of college, he had educated his mind. And when he went back to the streets as a reporter, he wanted to be educated in the streets, and that's why he studied martial arts. And he was just such a disciplined guy. He knew everything about New York, and he was a great sounding board for stories because he could put things into perspective.
Indeed. He will be missed.
And his memory sharp as a tack, even in those final days. All right, David, thank you for that look back and a tribute to John Noel. We will be right back.
Bad news for the Fox 2 family tonight. Our friend and former co-worker John Noel has died after a 2-year battle against brain cancer. John's award-winning TV career spanned more than 3 decades, starting in St. Louis, then here in Detroit, and ending with a 15-year stint at WNBC in New York City, his hometown. He was highly regarded as a reporter of integrity and courage. Even after his cancer diagnosis, John continued to work, covering the news by day and undergoing treatment at night, until just 2 months ago when he became too weak. John is survived by his parents, his brother and sister, and his loving daughter, Jacina. John Noel was 62 years old.
This is a sad day at News 4. We lost a special colleague and friend. John Noel died last night at the much too early age of 62. We were afraid this might happen when he was diagnosed with brain cancer 3 years ago. We knew it was coming when he went back into the hospital 2 months ago, but that doesn't ease the sense of loss. John was simply a good man who served his country in the United States Air Force, fell in love with reporting, and joined the News 4 team in 1998, covering the world around us with a steady competence, constant fairness, and a relentless pursuit of the truth. He was passionate about his job and his city, especially his home borough of Brooklyn. The Excellence in Broadcast Television Award from the Tenants Council of Brooklyn was one of the many honors he received for his work. From the day he learned he was sick until the end, John refused to feel sorry for himself, always telling us how lucky he was to have such a wonderful job and family. John survived by his beloved daughter, Jess, his brother, Randy, his sister, Camille, and his parents. He is terribly missed by all of them and all of us.